It is freaking hot. I want to talk about the importance of not only showing up, but really putting 100% of your effort in. So this is Gym Talks episode 4, I think. Maybe episode 5. I'm really bad at this. But today in the gym, saw these guys just absolutely going, balls to the walls on squats and leg press. And I was talking to one of my boys, and he was saying how he's going to compete in a couple of weeks, I believe, down in the Cape, which is just awesome. It was inspiring, to be honest. It was inspiring because they were pushing each other so hard. Right? I usually go to the gym alone in the morning, but they were just the screaming, right? Really, really pushing each other, counting each other off, all this different stuff. And it really goes to show, what can happen when you show up, right? I remember this guy, I won't name him just in case, but regardless, he's one of my high school. And I remember when he was not the biggest dude, right? He was just, your average high school kid. We did track together. And, now about 3-4 years later, the guy's going to go compete. Probably one of the biggest guys in the gym, And that didn't obviously happen overnight, but it happened from him just continuously showing up. Every single time he just showed up. And it compounds, right? And that is the perfect visualization of what happens when you just ruthlessly show up and you never quit, first of all, but you also never let yourself, slack. I think there's times where you can take a break. I'm not saying you have to be hard all the time. Pause. But what I am saying, right, is when you hold yourself to a standard and you have expectations for your goals, dreams, and visions, it's it'll take you so much farther than people realize. I was talking with my clients yesterday, and we were planning out, what's the plan for July, right? And we've been, his business has grown, right? But I think he's gotten comfortable, and he has, right? And I was bringing that up. We were talking about it. And, what I mentioned to him is that you just need to set your bigger goals and bigger visions, right? Because the second you start to get comfortable and complacent, it means your goals are not big enough, right? Whatever you're chasing should be bigger than you and should evoke real desire in you to achieve it. You think about, Elon Musk, for example, and SpaceX and going to Mars. The guy's vision, it's not to become a trillionaire. It's not to become the richest man in the world. It's to go to, other planets and actually be able to live on those planets. That's his goal and vision. And that is so much bigger than humanity. It's so much bigger than money. It's much bigger than him and technically what he could, accomplish on his own. And that's why he's cultivated a movement and a company so big and so powerful that it probably will happen, right? It will happen. He will die, on that grave until it happens. And it's that's the kind of goals you need to have, right? And then once you've set those goals, it's just a matter of showing up ruthlessly until you achieve those goals. That's why it's so important to set goals way, way bigger than you can ever imagine. But, I'm going to set goals, set my mission, set my movement way bigger than myself. I've already talked about it, but, my real vision, my real goal is to not only help founders and business owners market themselves in a way that's unique and genuinely them and not, some playbook or some unauthentic scripts, because it's just such, in my opinion, it's just such bullshit, right? All this fake stuff, all these different frameworks, all this different, methodology behind branding yourself and making content. I think, there's definitely frameworks and things you can follow, but it's not everything, right? Being your authentic self and showing your true side and sharing your genuine opinions is more important than anything. And that's how you cultivate a real movement, you know? People are, and this is a little tangent, but I mean, people are obsessed with the views, likes, and followers that they get. And it's not hard to get views, likes, and followers on social media at all. You could post a 4-second clip of some crazy viral moment, you know, like anything, you know, clipped crazy, genuinely like Vine, right? Like a tiger in a cage and someone falls in the cage. Oh my gosh, right? That would get like 10 million views. Okay, you would get a ton of followers. But it means absolutely nothing if they don't know who you are. They're not following you for you, right? It just doesn't mean anything. So I think people need to get over the hump of being obsessed with the numbers, being obsessed with the, you know, metrics in that sense, and start to realize that, you know, if you have a following of 1,000 people, right, but every single one of those people actually likes you and follows you for you and is inspired by you, that is so much more impactful and powerful than 100,000 people who followed you from some dumb viral reel that you made that has nothing to do with your personality or what you like. You know, you just made it so it could go viral. It's like, you know, if you have a following of 1,000 people and they all really mess with you and they really are inspired by you, and you set out to, you know, host an event of some sort, and, you know, let's say 60% of them show up, so 600 people, like, that is more than, like, genuinely what people with, you know, millions of followers could have it turn out to be, you know? And that's just the truth. But, yeah, I don't want to get too off topic. I definitely just do think that, you know, set goals bigger for yourself and don't allow yourself to fall below those standards, ever, right? Because it's an identity thing. Once you set those goals, once you have that mission, that vision, you just simply have to identify with the person that is capable / is living in that way, right? In that vision. And if you do that, like, I promise you, genuinely speaking from the bottom of my heart, because it's exactly what I'm doing right now, and it's exactly what you're going to see transform, not only on this channel, but with my life, it works, okay? It works. Quote me now, write it down, write it on my grave. It works. If you can actually just identify with the version of yourself that has the things that you want, that lives the way you want, well, guess what? It's a lagging indicator with the physical reality, but mentally and internally and spiritually, you will be aligned with that person. And the last, you know, infinity stone is just physical reality catching up. But all the other stones are already in the gauntlet, you know? So it's like, you have so much power, you know, if you can just set goals and truly try to work for something bigger than yourself. And I mean, a good tip that I actually have for this is to get other people bought into your vision as well, right? So that's what I'm doing with social media, is I'm getting other people bought into my vision and my goals, so that not only, you know, am I doing this for myself, but I'm doing it for the people that are following me, for the people that want to see my growth, that are, you know, interested in seeing my content, whatever. Because then it's more than just me, and I can already see that happening. You know, the vision is bigger than me, and now I'm cultivating a community and a culture around achieving this big thing. It's literally how business works. I mean, anytime companies raise money, it's because they have, you know, investors and people bought into their vision for the company, so they're going to spend money, you know, on the company because they believe in the vision, right? It's pretty simple, but good tip for that. Yeah, this is the end of the vlog, or fucking gym talks, but see you tomorrow. Peace.